Hey, what up? We're back. What did I miss? Time for meds? Yeah. I'm gonna self-medicate myself into oblivion with these fucking people. Shit you not. I shit you not. You date yourself because you're the only person up to your standards? Hilarious. Hey, you did send a link to your post the other day and had to do some digging, but that's what started all me versus them. I called out Veda for saying that she talked to Nat. No. Well, I'll be more than happy to take a look at that, but not right this second, because we will never get through this. So, Southern Mutton speaks really fucking slowly. So, I'm going to speed her the fuck up, or we're going to be here forever. And none of us want that. We're trapped in Silent Hill long enough as it is. Right? Nobody wants to be here for that long. I don't know if you noticed, by the way, I cut my hair, so it's a lot shorter now, which feels a lot better, and I reshaved the side, which is fucking looking spicy, but it's not quite finished, which is why it sits kind of weird right now. I haven't done the layering part of it yet, because I kind of think I want to go get a professional to do that, because they do a better job than I would, with my... What the fuck? Oh no! Ugh! I am depressed. My day is ruined. It's broken. That's so sad. It lasted so long. Maybe Veda will lend me some of the super glue she feeds her dog, so I can fix that. But you know, whatever. It's fine. That's not gonna work at all. Oh, so depressing. Ugh. It's okay, I got this one. I don't like this one as much. For this length of my hair, though. Like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty solid. Whatever. Anyway, it gives me this. Anyway. R.I.P. Clippy. R.I.P. Maybe I'll try and super glue it. I think I might have some of that kicking around. Anyway. Oh, yeah, that'd be cool to hang out, Mandy. I ain't gonna lie. Alright. So Southern Mutton speaks really slow, so I'll play her at normal speed and then we'll speed her up, because it's really slow. Normally I don't speed these people up on purpose, so that way people watching in the future will be able to speed both of us up at the same rate. She's real slow.
Hi, y'all. Thank you so much for joining. As you know, we will be talking about Katie Joy Paulson today. The last...
And for whatever reasons, she doesn't have closed captioning on.
Live I did, we touched on a few things, and of course, a lot of those are still ongoing. So I wanted to update and elaborate on what we discussed. One of the main things we discussed was this upcoming hearing for motion summary judgment that is scheduled for November 25th, 2024 at 1:30 p.m. Now, I'll touch on this a little bit in this video, but due to the complexity of it, I think I will do a separate video discussing the lawsuit and what this hearing might mean. Another thing we discussed is that Katie Joy Paulson was sued by Todd Chrisley. That ended in a settlement agreement. Now, those terms we are unaware of, but we do know that each party is instructed and ordered to not speak on the other party. Not only...
That's not what a settlement is. Remember when I said earlier we were going to get into this? A settlement is an agreement made outside of the court. It's not. There's no order inside of a settlement. It's usually a discussion between the two parties, i.e. lawyer to lawyer. However, like when she said we don't know what the terms are, I thought she meant like the terms of the agreement. Turns out she doesn't know what the term settlement is, which is why she's saying she doesn't know what the terms are. Also, Autumn Meep, love that. Fantastic. I can't wait.
Has Katie Joy Paulson broken that? She continues to break it. We also talked about how Katie Joy Paulson full out doxed a man named Dan, who is connected to Gypsy Rose Blanchard. They had some type of involvement with one another before Gypsy Rose Blanchard took the life of her own mother. Another thing we touched on was how Katie Joy was sent a cease and desist to take down the wedding photos of Jana Duggar's wedding. Now, we also noticed she had not taken down the engagement photos that she had watermarked with her own logo. And during that live, Mr. Blackwolf came into chat to let us know some breaking news that Katie Joy Paulson had just been served. I'm sure by now everyone knows what she was served with, but
Oh, Black Wolf knew about the TRO that Veda served on Katie Joy before it got leaked on Twitter. Tell me again how it's not Veda disseminating the information and sharing it with people? How did Wolf know about that? And then Wolf was running around telling other YouTube creators that that had happened? Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Huh, who could have foreseen this? Who could ever know? What fuckery is afoot? Mom! The dog pissed on the carpet again! Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to be in the basement. Mom! Oh, no! So, when all of them got really upset that I knew this information, and I had this information, they all freaked out, because they didn't want me to disseminate it. But now it's okay. Now it's okay. Now it's fine. It's all good. Hey, how did you vet Southern Mutton? How did you vet Wolf? How did you know that what Wolf said was true and accurate? He's kind of known to be a liar. He's also kind of known to be a crazy man full of shit and likes to threaten people and is racist. Not, again, for some reason. Not a deal breaker. Huh. He seems fine with animal abuse too, because he's buddied up with Megs and Veda. Not a deal breaker. Apparently not a deal breaker for Southern Mutton either. Interesting. This is fuckery, this is fuckery. LulCow scream in the dead of night or into the void. This is fuckery, la 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 la. Anyway. Oh, I gotta say like Parman. Man! Man! Wolf's being a dildo! It's been a long time since I did a fucking Cartman voice. Nah, nah. Alright. What is she saying?
Believe me, there is way more to it, and we're going to break it down. So let's break down all of this, y'all. Let's see what Katie Joy Paulson has been doing in the last week, because, trust me, for all of these topics, it's only gotten worse. Because as we know, Katie Joy Paulson has a horrible problem with keeping her mouth shut. So let's break it down, guys. Let's get into it.
You just say that completely unironically after you just said that Wolf gave you information that you didn't vet about Katie Joy being served a TRO from Veda? Southern Mutton, I have a question for you. Why isn't animal abuse a deal breaker for you?
I am a complete ding dong. Everything I say is always wrong.
I'm gonna skip this.
Okay, y'all. So if you've been following Katie Joy recently, you would know that she has been on TikTok non-stop for hours at a time, sometimes numerous.
Guys, the content creator is making content on a platform. Look the fuck out. That's the same fucking thing Renelle said. Oh, by the way, this is from 4 days ago, so this is from even before Renelle made her video about what was going on. So just for a time frame, we've got 1 day ago was Rabbit, 2 days ago was Renelle. This is from 4 days ago from today, which is Monday. All right, this is Monday. This is 9/9/2024. All right, just to be clear about the time frame here. And I guess we should double check. Let's see. When I talked about going live, talking about this, so this is September 6th, right? When I talked about this, they all got really mad and they did a live stream, and that was 2 weeks ago. So that was the 24th of August. So when they all admitted they had the paperwork. All right. Sorry, go on.
Times a day. And she is manically talking about Gypsy Rose. Now, before that, as we know, over on Instagram, she was stalking and harassing Miranda and James Derrick. After the docuseries came out.
By the way, that could be defamatory because stalking and harassing are criminal charges or civil charges. And if Katie Joy hasn't actually been found guilty of those things, you could be blatantly saying something like that and accusing her of crime could be considered defamation. I'm only saying this because you guys like to talk about defamation suits a lot and talk about, like, Katie Joy defaming people. So I'm just saying, you might want to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
That Katie Joy was a very minimal part of. Miranda Derrick made a statement that she was getting threats. After that, Katie Joy Paulson then had to become the bigger victim and let everybody know that not only was she also receiving threats, that people were creating emails in her name and sending out threats to other creators, to attorneys, etc., but that she was also swatted in her home. That's very questionable, but that's not what we're here to talk about. While Katie Joy Paulson was posting.
Was Steve swatted? I'm curious. It seems related. You don't believe Katie. Do you believe that Steve was swatted? Southern Mutton, I'm curious to know if that's something you believe. Food for thought.
Posting about how all of these creators are the ones that are actually behind these threats, and that Robert Shin is their puppeteer. He's the puppet master, y'all, and he's making all these creators do these things. Then it comes down to, well, it's one creator who's really behind the majority of it, even though I thought it was Robert Shin that was behind it. No, it's this one particular creator. And then...
Well, actually, that's not necessarily true, because we don't actually have that information, because Katie Joy was vague in her accusations, and y'all started fucking jumping up and down, right? I'm saying y'all because I'm wondering if people are going to figure out, or I wonder if these people are going to look at the email screenshot I showed, and say that I'm the one who did it because, look, I used the word y'all. Tee-hee-hee. Where's the proof, the thing that you're asking for? Yeah, I know, right? Here's the thing, right? Oh, yeah, by the way, I didn't tag any of them in this yet, and I didn't put Southern Mutton in the thumbnail because last time I talked about her, again, she yeeted herself, so I wanted to make sure that she didn't yeet this before I went live about it. I wanted to make sure, because I wanted the description and shit. I wanted to know when it was.
Slowly over time, it came out, and you could tell that she was alluding to a creator named Veda. I was not...
No, you all made yourselves... You told on yourselves. That's what you did. That's what you did. She never said it was Veda. I watched Erin's video talking about that, where she said Charlotte's name a bunch while she's under a TRO. That one, where she's trying to say that, be like, see, look, Katie Joy's talking about Veda. Yeah, it's not very convincing. So if you have convincing reasons and evidence and proof as to why before all before the leak, let's say, that she was talking about Veda, I'd love to see it.
Not going to talk about this, y'all. I just was not going to bring this up ever, really. But I think it's important that I do so now, and I'm going to try to be as careful with my words as I can be. So,
implying that she knew about all of this before any of the leaks. Implying that she actually knew about it, at least at minimum, the day Katie Joy was served. Minimum. Didn't Steve tell Mutton he had so much evidence which can prove his case against Charla beyond a reasonable doubt at last year? I wonder if Mutton never followed up on that. Yeah, good question. Good question. I'd love to know.
So, Katie Joy Paulson was served. She was served a restraining order by Veda. What most people did not know at the time was that Katie Joy Paulson already had a restraining order against Veda. A hearing was held, and a trial was scheduled for October. Keep in mind, this is a temporary order. But after that hearing, I'm sure Veda was like, you harassed me, I feel stalked by you. So Veda filed her own order of protection for harassment against Katie Joy Paulson.
So it was retaliatory. Thank you. I'm glad we all agree that this is retaliatory, Renell.
There's a hearing set for the judge to hear that. But at this moment, there are temporary orders against each other. Katie Joy has a temporary order of protection for harassment against Veda, and Veda has the same against Katie Joy. In all reality, neither one of them should speak on the other until after this hearing happens for Veda's RO against Katie.
And surely that means none of her friends would disseminate or put out any information that she's sharing with them on her behalf, like she's asked them to do in the past. And surely none of you would be foolish enough to attempt to do so under a very thin veneer of plausible deniability, right? And like, Veda wouldn't be in contempt of court again, would she? No, she wouldn't do that. Don't worry, we're going to check up on Veda.
And then to see what happens in the trial. Okay, with that said, here is why I think Veda had the right to turn around and file her own order against Katie Joy. Now, keep in mind, Veda has already filed an order against Katie Joy in the past, and it was dismissed, I believe, for jurisdiction. Don't quote me on that. She did file, and it was dismissed. Also, regardless of how we feel about Veda, let's try to keep...
You mean the other retaliatory TRO that Veda filed in North Carolina, where she lumped KJ and Sharla together, that a bunch of your friends went and used as an excuse to say that Sharla and Katie Joy were working together. As in, like, the most obvious setup I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Keep our personal feelings about Veda aside during this, as I just want to show some facts. In June, Katie started this, letting everybody know that somebody has created an email in her name. It's not her, but it's probably Robert Shin and his trolls, right? That they were sending it to lawyers, other creators, even Miranda Derrick herself. And...
well, that said Cactus Bill, and Cactus Bill is an entirely different streamer that we haven't really looked at here. We've only seen them mentioned tertiarily in this big company of people that they reference each other.
They were sending it to lawyers, other creators, even Miranda Derrick herself. And then it turns into, now my tips at withoutacrystalball.com has been spoofed, and that people are using this.
That isn't turns into, that is ongoing situation, not went from this to becoming this. It went from this is a thing, and now also this is a thing. Time exists, allegedly.
This email to send threats to all these people. Okay. So Katie Joy is saying somebody is spoofing her email addresses, also creating email addresses in her name, and they are sending out threatening emails.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let's cover that again real quick. So, what was that she said? You said right here.
Also, regardless of how we feel about Veda, let's try to keep our personal feelings about Veda aside during this.
Despite how we feel about Veda, let's try to keep our personal feelings aside about Veda. Hold on, we're doing one more time. Navigate to my channel. Right, you can go to #DramaCon updates and trigger warnings. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, which has the proof in it of these things that I'm talking about, since they demand proof, there is a video that is titled Nonsense Update that I was looking at. That was a members only video that Veda herself made live on her channel. That's where I'm watching it from. And I wrote a summary in the description. Almost broke a dog's neck by sitting on him in the bathroom, nearly killing him, nearly cutting off her dog's tongue with a sharp part of a can that the dog got from the garbage, the dog consuming her underwear, which she allows and continues to happen, feeding her dog super glue that she is informed that is toxic for dogs and says he can do it anyway, physically harming her mother via a dog causing potential back injury, taking something from her son to refund it for cigarettes, engaging audience with a potential toxic relationship struggle with her and potentially diet stuff with her significant other. Casual racism, stating that's the fun part of the game Dodgeball is breaking the rules to physically harm people. Putting out information about somebody, private information about somebody you should care about without their permission, knowing that they explicitly would not want that information out, and slut-shaming and body-shaming, and hating kids to the point of potentially putting them in life-threatening situations, and hating her own son. So, and the art theft, and the contempt, and the harassment, and illegally recording stuff at court. So, shall I go on? So despite, we're just going to take all of those things that Veda has done. Definitively. Like, there's evidence that she has done these. These are things that she claimed she did. And we're going to take that off the table. That's not hearsay, by the way, Renelle. Me saying she said she did this isn't hearsay. Idiot. This is things. And we're gonna just pretend none of that happened. Oh, but this is, by the way, the same Veda that said she spoofed emails and sent fake emails to people before to get information about them. Or to troll them and freak them out. The same Veda who's friendly with Nat and has been in the community for a lot longer than people realize, quote unquote. Right? That Veda? We're just gonna... None of that could possibly be relevant to assessing whether or not they believe Katie Joy's accusations might have merit? Or at least have enough merit to say, well, you know what, maybe we should wait. Maybe we should just wait and see what evidence Katie Joy presents to the court if that ends up being made available, which it might not because it may be sealed. Maybe? No? It's her say. She said it, it's her say. Alright, sorry, Mutton. You really don't? Do you actually not think that that information might be viable? Might be relevant? Weird. These people start with the conclusion that Katie is wrong and then work backwards to support their conspiracy while depicting proven liars as victims. Darvo. Anyway, yeah, go on, dipshit. I'm glad that your image and the picture you use and like your brand, I guess. I'm glad that your brand is a mutton, like a mutton chop, because you're a fucking sheep.
Somebody is spoofing her email addresses, also creating email addresses in her name, and they are sending out threatening emails to everyone.
Oh, you mean that thing that Veda said she did? That thing? And that when Veda said explicitly she was targeting Katie Joy? That thing? Got it. Ignore that information about Veda, though. Ignore that, because that information and feelings are the same thing. Because we wouldn't want to be biased, would we? Bias.
She then shows this, which is, notice that somebody, I don't know, I guess created a fake email that used her Tips That Without a Crystal Ball email as the backup account for it, whatever. Then later on, she says that this email was completely spoofed, that her tipsthatwithoutacrystalball.com email has been used to send out all of these horrible threats. It's so confusing, y'all, but let's just hear how Katie Joy has to explain it.
They are emailing people claiming to be me from an email address that is not mine and sending threats to attorneys, to Robert's attorneys, to dancers, to other creators. They are trying whatever they can to make me look like I'm threatening everyone. And they're using Gmail accounts.
Like this one? Is it similar to this one? Does it look like this? Like this one? Maybe? Like this one? Huh. Wacky.
Accounts that are not tied to me in any capacity. They have impersonated me through Google accounts. One now has been deleted, and they have been trying to add my tips email, which is my Without a Crystal Ball tips email. It's not a personal account. They've been using that as the recovery email for them. Well, I got an email today that they deleted that email account because they set up my email address as the recovery email, which is insane.
I'm not sure if that clears anything up. But Katie also goes on to say that her Tips That Without a Crystal Ball.
If you don't understand the situation and you don't understand what these terms are and you don't know what they mean, maybe your commentary about your opinion about the situation that you clearly don't understand isn't viable and you should clip it out of your stupid fucking video.
Ball.com email was spoofed, and that somebody was using that email along with some of these other created, quote unquote, Gmail emails to send threats, etc., to all of these people. Now, keep in mind, there were other creators that also had their emails spoofed or emails created in their name, which were used to send threats to.
I don't know if mine was ever spoofed or utilized. I've never seen anybody say that it has, and I've also never seen anybody show a screenshot of anything that looked like it was pretending to be me.
Some of the same people that the emails from Katie were sent to as well. Katie's not the only person, the only victim in this, but of course, she's not going to tell people that. So this email is from Google to Tips Out Without.
What do you mean she's not going to tell people that? She literally just said that other creators were having this happen to them. In the clip you just showed. You just showed a clip where she said that. Mutton thinks we're fucking stupid. Did she not just say that? Chat, one in the chat. Did Katie not just say that other creators were having this happen to them? Did she not just say, like, other creators were getting emails? No? Didn't she just say that? How stupid do you think your audience is, Southern Mutton? Are you for real?
Crystalball.com, letting her know that this is the backup account for this KatieJMPaulson@gmail.com, which Katie Joy says is not her email. But they used her tips at withoutacrystalball.com as a backup account. But let's look at this little red circle with the red line through it that is next to tips at withoutacrystalball.com. Everything that I have read, and let me tell you, I have searched for Outlook, Apple email, Gmail. That means in every situation, that email is blocked. Katie Joy has tips at withoutacrystalball.com blocked. Why, y'all? I also read that it could...
Because somebody was spoofing it, and somebody was using it that wasn't her for a recovery account. You know that you don't have to log into a recovery account to set it as a recovery account, right? And that could just be used as a way to harass somebody, right? Where suddenly you're getting all these recovery emails for your, like, for other emails pretending to be you showing up in an account that you're not even necessarily using anymore. This isn't hard to figure out if you just remove Katie Joy's name and have a basic understanding of what email, like how email works. You know that you don't need to log into an email to make it your recovery account, right? So, like, if I, like, let's, for example, let's pretend I made, like, a bunch of fucking Southern Mutton accounts, right? And I took her picture from YouTube, and I put it on all of the accounts, right? And they all were called, like, Southern Mutton 12345, Southern Mutton KYS, Southern Mutton blah, 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 blah. Like, whatever, like, I'm gonna attack you, like, stuff, like, threatening things, that was the name. And then I made all those emails, and then I made the recovery email from that, her Google email, the one that she has to have a YouTube channel that you can get from the YouTube channel, right? So if I go to Southern Mutton's YouTube, like her main channel, I can go down and see her email. And I made that the recovery account for all these emails. And then I just went to go and log in to all of these accounts and just said recover password, or I forgot my password. It would send her an email for every password recovery that I attempted on every single one of those emails. Maybe that's why Katie Joy fucking blocked it, dude. Like, it's not fucking hard. You might block your own account too if you're getting shit like that. You know what I mean? It's not hard. This isn't difficult. This isn't complicated. This is you being an ignorant fuck because you're so obsessed with fucking hating Katie Joy and defending an animal abuser Veda for, like, the fucking... For what? For what? Why? For what reason? Is there a reason you want to defend fucking racists? Is there a reason you want to defend harassers? Do they have dirt on you? Are you just wrapped up in the whole fucking company? Oh, wow, go figure. It's almost like you're fucking full of shit. Like, how could you possibly make a video about this, trying to explain and disseminate the information going on in this case, and you don't have a basic fucking understanding of how recovery emails work or what they are? Like, how could you possibly have the audacity to make commentaries about something that's about a system you have zero understanding of? Also, how are you a streamer? How do you exist on the internet without understanding the basics of how email functions? Like, what the fuck? Don't you have to verify recovery accounts? Not necessarily, and not right away. Usually they need to be... Well, it also depends, right? If you're going across things. Like, if you're going across platforms. So if you're using something like Google versus something else. Like, Google can't ask you to verify a not Google account. You see what I'm saying? So, no. Short answer, no. Long answer, meh. You should, if you have a recovery account, you absolutely should have a verified account with 2-step authentication on it, if that's going to be your recovery account. You absolutely should fucking have that. And you should, basic cyber safety shit. We can have a conversation about that the other day. We can go into it a little bit more. So, go do it. Go try and write, like, anybody who's here right now, go make a secondary email that's like your current email number 2, and when it says, what's your recovery email, put in your current email and see what it asks you for. You'll see what I'm talking about.
It happened by accident. You can block yourself by accident, and you just go and unblock yourself. But I'm here to tell you, in my opinion, it is no accident, and I'll show you why. On October
I'm going to tell you why with my information that I don't fucking understand anything else.
30th of 2023, Katie Joy Paulson put out a post regarding Veda, showing emails that Veda apparently sent to her on May 26th of 2023. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to say they are or they are not from Veda. However, I'd be really surprised if Veda would be willing to say something along these lines in an open email to Katie Joy Paulson. So when this was apparently sent by Veda in May of 2023.
So your reasoning behind believing or not believing something is you're being incredulous, and that's it. You don't understand the system, and if you'll notice, that screenshot doesn't say from. It's not actually showing what email that screenshot of that email came from. It's just saying to.
A year before all of this new shenanigans started in June of 2024, she had her tips@withoutacrystalball.com email blocked. So she had it blocked for a full year. So because this is blocked, it all goes to spam. It all goes to the trash folder. Why? Katie talks about how important this email address is because she gets so many tips that are so important, y'all. Why would it be blocked? And for a full year? She admits herself that this email has been spoofed. Has she known it since May of 2023? Since Veda started apparently sending her these emails?
Again, that says to, not from. And also, the reason why you do this and you still get the emails and they go straight to your trash is so you can still peruse them. I don't know if you know this, but on Google, if you don't set a timer, your trash does not automatically delete itself. Until it gets full, then it'll start deleting itself. Depending on your settings. Right? So sometimes the setting will be like forever away, and sometimes there'll be no setting. You can turn the setting off and have it never delete itself. These are all settings you can make whatever you want, so you have no idea what Katie Joy's settings are for her fucking Google accounts. This is so weird. You can trace IP addresses from an email. Yes, you can do that, regardless of whatever email they're coming from. 30 days, thank you. Yes, 30 days. So the thing is like, what will happen is it will ask you sometimes to verify the recovery email from the email, but you don't have to do it because it will send you an email based on that. So let's say that Tips Without a Crystal Ball, Katie Joy, for example, so I'm trying to explain this briefly. So if Katie Joy has it blocked, that means that verification goes to the trash can, right? So she would never see that verification, which means the email can would and could keep operating. Because remember, this is not to make it work. This is the recovery email, right? So it will tell you that this is making your account the recovery email, right? And you can decline it. Most people don't, right? But it's not a requirement for making the email, right? So you can make the email, send a couple of emails, and then do it. And you're still going to get a bunch of emails saying, hey, this is the recovery email for this. 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 You'll get a bunch of fucking emails like that. Yes, 30 days. You see what I'm saying?
And if so, does she have this spoofed tips@withoutacrystalball.com email blocked? And the other one runs and operates as usual? I don't know. Just a thought, y'all.
I mean, maybe. Yeah, maybe this is the spoofed one and not the... But this is the to, not the from. So the screenshot is meaningless in the context that you're talking about.
I just don't know why she has herself blocked. But back to May of 23. Within that same post on October 30th, Katie Joy also included this email that was allegedly from Veda as well on May 26th, 2023. And I just have a hard time believing that Veda would send such a threatening email to her from her personal email address. Again, I could.
We already know that things are being spoofed back and forth. What the fuck are you even saying? Is this in Katie Joy's evidence against Veda? Or are you just talking about posts of her explaining that she's getting bullshit emails? Because if she's saying, I'm getting fake emails and then posting this, then she's not saying it's Veda. She's saying it's a fake bullshit email that she's getting. Can you make up your fucking minds? Anyway, this says, stop. Oh, I guess I should read the other one because she didn't read that one either. It says, CPS, this is your last warning before I send CPS to your home. Remove the posts about me. And then this one says, stop. If you uni and nonsense don't stop trying to frame me, Katie, you are going to regret. I promise you I am not the one to mess with. I know you were behind Nat. Nat spelled with a G. I have proof you were. Look on my YouTube or Facebook. You remove your posts about me and stop sending your subs to harass me. I've never seen Katie Joy subs harassing Veda, so... Or any of these people? Or you are going to find out what happens when you cross me. I'm not hiding behind a screen either. I will show up at your home. Leave me alone, Katie. Now stop framing me with silly emails. Stop sending me threads. I assume he means threats. Just stop. Go and touch some grass. Y'all are gross up inside Duggars. I saw you show your audience how to SA a child. You are sick. Steve never harassed you either. You made it up for attention just like you're framing your family.
Within that same post on October 30th, Katie Joy also included this email that was allegedly from Veda as well on May 26, 2023. And I just have a hard time believing that Veda would send such a threatening email to her from her personal email address. Again,
you having a hard time believing that Veda would do the things that Veda already said she did, just not these ones, isn't evidence. That's not reasoning. That's not justification. That's just you stating that's how you feel about it. Oh, hi. Nonsense. Fancy seeing you here. Wow, were your ears burning?
I could be wrong. But to me, again, I'm not a fan of Veda, y'all, but I don't think Veda is this dumb to send something so threatening from her own personal email address to Katie Joy Paulson, knowing that, number one, this could be considered illegal and would absolutely have means to have a restraining order put against you. It just...
So you're not a fan of Veda? You're not a fan of Veda? Is it the animal abuse? Is it the being shitty to her kid? Is it the potential abuse of her spouse and her spouse's personal information? Is it the harassment that she does? Is it the email spoofing that she does? Is it her trying to get people's email addresses through fake emails, through phishing sites? Is it what is the definitely not relevant piece of information about Veda that might be viable in talking about whether or not you believe Veda might do something like this? Almost like she's said. You're not a fan of her but defending her, right, Kathy? You got it. Not a fan, but I'm going to go to bat for her based on what? What information do you have? You've apparently known about this for a while. So what information do you have that makes you think Veda didn't do this? All you're saying is like, well, I just don't think she's that stupid. Okay, well, that's not exactly evidence or proof. That's just like your opinion, I guess. Seems like a very wrong and stupid opinion, considering this is shit that Veda said she does.
Just doesn't make sense to me. Let's also keep in mind that as we fast forward to June, because this is in October, Katie Joy is saying, oh my God, pretty much emails can be spoofed, emails can be made, and threats can be sent in somebody else's name. And that
Except that also the screenshot that you're showing is an email that says at the top that it's from last year.
same post, Katie Joy also posted this, which was a post from Veda. And Veda basically saying, I had no part in this. Thank you for those that have my back. I did not write these emails or texts, and that I will prove it. Veda also said that she will prove that the emails are fake and phished, and that she will debunk it. So, of course, Katie Joy passed...
When was this from? When is this from? October 2023. Okay, so did she prove it?
in this. Thank you for those that have my back. I did not write these emails or texts, and that I will prove it. Veda also said that she will prove that the emails are fake and phished and that she will debunk it. So, of course, Katie Joy has to put this out there and insult Veda. I mean, because why not? That's what she does, y'all. Plus, she has to stick to a narrative. But this is what I love the best about this. She says, some of these threats came out of your mouth on my Facebook page and in my DMs from your real account, linked to your pages. What about
Well, I mean, to be fair, when I was talking about Veda last time, she came in here and wished it was my grave she was shitting on, so it's not exactly out of Veda's purview to threaten people directly. Like, it's not really outside of the things that she does. She also hangs out with Wolf, who threatens people directly with killing them. Like, that's a thing that this group of people have done live on streams that are recorded. It's not really outside of her purview to be doing shit like this. So why do you believe her? Tell Elmo.
about emails, and only some of those threats? A little suspicious there. So Katie said in this post, that
Hey guys, maybe it was Southern Mutton that sent me this email that I wouldn't come back from Kansas because it uses the word y'all, and then nobody else but Southern Mutton uses the word y'all. Is my voice being sarcastic enough for you? Is there enough sarcasm in there? You keep picking up on that?
I'm only sharing this for the safety of my audience and viewers. I do not want you to fall for this woman. Katie says that Veda encouraged people to mass report her to CPS.
You're trying to help people by giving them incorrect and wrong information while not giving them the information about Veda? Why? You already agreed that Veda was problematic. You said you have issues with Veda, that however people feel about Veda. So Veda wrapped up in a thing is problematic. So if you think that Veda is problematic, why only protect your audience from Katie Joy and not from Veda, who's known for sending phishing emails? She literally said she does that. So you want to protect people from Katie Joy but not from Veda? Like, here's the thing. If you're being unbiased and you are actually covering this reasonably, right, you would cover both things. The reason I don't cover fucking Katie Joy is because I don't give a shit. I'm talking about the company. I'm talking about this particular group of people in their entirety and what they've been doing and how they're doing it and what they're going about, so that way people can defend themselves from these kinds of things and educate themselves on these kinds of things, and also because it's kind of fucking ridiculous and kind of fucking funny. So you get to the point where it's like, well, yeah, and people could take the shit that I say here and apply it to Katie Joy if they want, and people can take it and apply it somewhere else if they want, but I'm not some fucking hero. I'm not pretending I'm here. Save the world from Veda Jade. No, that's stupid. Shut up. You're not doing anybody any favors. You're not helping Veda because you're giving out too much information. So who are you helping? You're not helping your followers because you're not actually educating them about how emails work and how phishing could happen and what the tricks are and tips are to look out for, which are things that we've talked about here in the past. No. I will look down upon you. They will reach up and cry for help. No.
That she's encouraging everybody to not follow Katie Joy, etc., etc. Just everything she can do to make Veda look bad to her followers. Okay, fine.
Why would Katie Joy need to make Veda look bad to Katie Joy's followers? Veda's not that important. Also, you don't need to make Veda look bad. She said she feeds her dog fucking super glue and her underwear. It's not hard to, the Veda makes Veda look bad. And if that were the case and all she wanted to do was make Veda look bad to her followers, why in the fuck would she go to court? Why the fuck would she file a TRO? Like, that makes no fucking sense. Zero, none, zip, nada, 0 cents. So you're sitting here being like, well, I don't believe that because it just doesn't make sense to me. Well, I don't believe this because this makes no fucking sense to me. Can you explain how? What? Especially since when it came to the TRO, Katie's not the one who leaked that information or that she was talking about Veda. Veda was the one who was passing that around behind behind the scenes with all of her friends that make fucking streams about this shit. And then it ended up on Twitter. Oh, surprise to fucking prize. Right? Llama Girl was the one that posted on Twitter that Veda had filed a TRO. Wolf was the one who came to fucking Southern Mutton and told Southern Mutton that Veda had filed a TRO. So who's disseminating information here? Who's making Veda look bad because now everybody knows Veda's wrapped up in another set of TROs? You! You guys made this fucking public. You guys! Duh! Dipshit! The call is coming from inside. Hello? Hello? Is that the inside of the house calling me? Do 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 do.
Whatever. That was in October of 2023. Where
Whatever.
she's saying, I've been getting emails from Veda since May of 2023. In February of 2024, there were some other emails that were sent, but come June of 2024 is when the quote-unquote really bad emails start. Here's an example of...
Well, here's the thing too, right? What if whoever was doing this just succeeded in tricking Katie Joy into thinking that it was Veda? So what if she was just wrong? And she was like, she thought it was Veda, but wasn't sure, and so filed for an investigation to find out. Would that have been okay? Is Katie Joy allowed to be incorrect or be tricked by phishing emails? And by spoofs? Or is that not allowed? Is she not allowed to do that? Is that illegal? How do you know? Again, we're back to October of 2023. This was back when all of them were claiming to be getting harassing emails from Charla. Remember? So how did they know it was from Charla if all of this spoofing shit was going on, and they knew all this spoofing shit was going on? And they clearly don't know that it's not Veda, because the only reason Southern Mutton says it's not Veda is because, I just don't believe she'd be that dumb. In pretending to not be her, she would never use her name to throw people off. I don't know if it's Veda. I'm saying your fucking things is bullshit. Oh, Katie is never wrong? Oh, the Katie is always wrong and is always lying is suddenly KJ's never wrong when it's convenient for our conspiracy theory? Weird. Weird. So, quick question. Hey, who do you guys think this email came from? I'm asking Southern Mutton. I'm asking Aaron and Renell and Veda and all the company, all of you fuckers. Who do you think this email came from? This one. I'll read it out again. Just one more real quick. No subject. Why you working for KJ for? Just to get at Steve and Aaron? Y'all will pay for this. I know where you live, Chesh, and if you are a witness in Kansas, watch your back. You might not make it back home. As if I didn't get a bunch of texts or a bunch of tweets that were like this in my direction as well around this time from accounts like Katie is a liar and a Black Wolf being threatening in this kind of way as well. Oh, well, maybe I'm gonna show up. Look the fuck out. It's almost like there's a bunch of people that make threats all within their little fucking club. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows where this email came from? It's magic. Maybe I just sent it to myself so I would have it for this fucking stream. Oh, by the way, if anybody wants this email, let me know. Send me an email. I'll forward it to you if you want to take a look at it. Anyway, where were we? Oh, here we go.
One of the emails that another creator received. This is clearly from a Katie Joy Paulson 886 at gmail.com that Katie claims is not hers. But as you can see, it is signed Veda. Several people received emails that were from quote-unquote Katie Joy. Some were signed Veda.
Well, that might be signed Veda, or it might be talking to Veda. Notice how you blacked out this part that says who it was sent to. So this could be being sent to Veda or to somebody else talking about Veda, or it might be signed Veda. There are 3 interpretations to this email off the top of my head. So unless you have more information, that's not going to be good enough. Your interpretation isn't good enough. Yeah, Manya, I'll send it to you.
Some were signed other creators. Some emails were other creators that had been spoofed. But come June 2024, Katie is blaming Robert Shin for employing all
Including Charla, Southern Mutton? Because I remember last time we talked about you were shitting on Charla too. So were those emails that were happening at that time, maybe Charla was involved? Like as in Charla's email was being spoofed with threats? Where, you guys got an apology out for that one? Or was that part of the conspiracy? Did you do it? Like by your logic, Katie Joy is sending this to herself to frame Veda. So by your logic, were you sending it to yourself to frame Charla? I need some proof that Veda wasn't involved in all the emails. I don't know. I've checked, RNGD says, I've checked some of these emails. I could not determine that they were spoofed in the actual technical term. Fascinating. It's almost like these people don't know anything about tech and don't know anything about deciphering one thing or another. But you know who might? An investigator. You know who might? A tech professional. You know who might? The FBI.
all of these creators underneath him to send these emails. And then she starts singling out one individual. And then eventually she makes it very clear that she thinks it's
Where did she start singling out one creator? She did say it was one person, but which creator was it? Now you're saying eventually she said it was Veda after it got leaked that it was Veda that she was accusing in court? Because Veda told everybody she got a retaliatory TRO? Oh yes, that's right. Veda's got a degree in computers.
It's Veda. And then we find out that there was actually a restraining order put against Veda by Katie Joy. I'm not going to show the order, but I'm going to read parts of it. And yes, it is public information. She states in June.
How do you know it's public information? Again, they went on this shtick being it's not public, it's private. Oh my God, Balls took it down because it was supposed to be sealed. It's sealed. Nobody's supposed to have it. Now it's public. Why? How? In what way?
June of 2024, she, meaning Veda, emailed the following threat via an alias email. And it says, Shin has hired me and another creator to stop you. It is working, LOL. What if I sent a hitman to RAPE, your son, before unaliving you, LOL? Do me a favor, Katie. Tell me how you think you're representing victims. It also states, she, meaning Veda, has made good on her threats to report me to law enforcement. In the past 2 weeks, she has swatted us and attempted to use police to hurt my son and me. I want to reiterate here. It states in the beginning, she emailed the following threat via an alias email. How are you going to prove that that's Veda? In another part of the order, Katie states, by June 2024, Veda made good on her threats to create emails, quote unquote, spoofed in my name to send threats to me, others, my husband, and others. She created multiple fake email accounts, and she lists them. She then used these emails to send me direct threats and set up my business inquiry email address as the, quote unquote, recovery email address for those accounts. It then states, on June 14th, 2024,
if we've already all agreed that Katie Joy is claiming that Veda sent these threatening emails to her, why are you reading this out? You're not showing it. So how is your audience supposed to know that what you're saying is accurate? I mean, my audience trusts me, and if they ask, I can always back up what I'm saying. And I was also on stream reading it live. You could see me reading it. So how are we supposed to know what you're reading is accurate? And how is your audience supposed to know what you're reading is accurate? I mean, we have no reason to trust you, quite frankly. You've been obviously, bullshitting. So, how do we know what you're reading is accurate, first off? Second off, why are you reading it? I had reasons for reading it, and I explained what those reasons were in my video. What's your reason? Because all of this just seems like an excuse to read out these threats directed at Katie Joy, and especially with your incorporation and your defense of Veda and the company members, it seems like you're just trying to continue and enable the harassment that's going on. That's how it comes off. Is that your intention or what you're trying to do? I don't know. It could be that you just didn't have a plan, didn't have a reason, and just thought it made good content, which is a reason. But you didn't really think it through very well. What's the point? When I read out a couple of them, I read them out in response to people claiming that Katie Joy sent these emails to herself. like what you're doing and what we just saw Rabbit doing, and we just saw Renelle and Nicole Farron and Aaron doing. That's why I read them out, to make the point of they're making these claims that she did this, so I gave you a couple of examples. Why are you reading these out? Outside of disseminating definitely public information that you're not willing to show on stream for some reason. Huh. It's almost like you're a shitty person.
Before, she contacted me via this spoofed email and wrote, "You want me to put your kid into child porn? That sound okay? Just this once." Y'all, how can she even prove?
You read out the word rape, like by spelling it R-A-P-E, but then you said out loud child porn. What? Huh? What? 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 Huh? Are you a real person? What the fuck? That's just weird. Okay, moo. Alright, keep going.
That Veda is behind these quote-unquote spoofed emails. It just doesn't add up, y'all. Just saying. But anyway.
What? Why? Why doesn't it add up? What about it doesn't add up? How? Tell Elmo! What the fuck? Huh? If they were smart, they would be legit terrifying with their malice. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, to be fair though, Alex, to be fair, these people have gotten away with being a harassment group for years. Right? It's only until recently that, like, people like myself and, like, Kathy P have actually, like, been like, what the fuck is going on? And, like, the next domino is gonna fall, right? Like, like, it's just a matter of time. This is all gonna fucking collapse, right? This whole bloviated bullshit is gonna fucking reach critical mass and just implode. And when it does so, all of these people are just gonna be like the lolliest of LulCows. Like, they're already there, just not enough people are fucking paying attention to them. You know what I mean? They've done just about everything to try to take Katie Joy down, and nothing has worked. Maybe they need to find new hobbies. You'd think after doing something for so long, you'd start to get good at it. You know what I mean? So this is the reason why I keep saying I don't need to do anything to take down Steve or get revenge on Steve when these people fucking accuse me of being like, I just don't like Steve. I don't need to do anything to Steve. Steve does Steve himself. I don't need. This is the same thing that I said about people who are trolling Steve and trying to take him down back in the day. I'm like, you don't need to grasp at straws. If Steve is as bad as you're saying he is, he will implode on his own. You don't need to help him, and you can just talk about the things that are problematic without doing the extra work. And, like, adding bullshit on top of the little corn you found, right? So it's the same thing with Katie. If Katie is as bad as everybody claims that Katie is, then you don't need to grasp at straws and bullshit to take her down, because she'll implode in on herself by being a bad person. It's only a matter of time. So if you comment on somebody fairly, without having to grasp at straws, you're going to do a better job. Steve is a LulCow lying about being swatted as top tier LulCow. Oh yeah. No, Steve is absolutely already imploding. He's been imploding. He's been getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, right? They're all at LulCow territory. They're all there. It's just there's not as many people watching them as, like, your fucking like your Shani and Rev and your fucking King Cobra and stuff like that. But they're right there. They're right fucking there.
For those of you that don't know, and for those of you that do, here is a reminder, a creepy reminder actually, that 4 years ago when Katie was entangled in another lawsuit, the same thing was happening. Emails were being created, and other creators' names, and Katie Joy's names, and they were being sent back and forth all around as threats, threatening this person and that person under this name, under that name, under Katie Joy's name. The exact same scenario, right? She also put restraining orders out on 2 individuals. So here's a reminder of what she said. Now, she happened to say this in August of 2021. It's creepy, y'all. If you couldn't see here that this was obviously recorded years ago, you would think that she was speaking of this as of June 2024.
This is a weird way for you guys to admit that you've been going after Katie for so long and the same shit keeps happening to her. Because that's kind of a weird admittance that maybe it's coming from your group. Or maybe your group enables and allows it and fosters that kind of shit. Wow.
But yes, they filed 4 false police. They filed false police report. They filed 4 CPS reports. They sent the police to my house. They filed a false tax fraud case. They have signed me up for multiple online dating things. They have attempted to hack into my email. They have sent hundreds upon hundreds of threats to my inbox, and it's horrible. And they were also using fake email addresses and spoofing email addresses to send emails to us during this whole thing. And they were sending hundreds of horrific threats to us daily. So,
I'm sorry. What was the conclusion of that, mutton chops? Was the conclusion that the person was caught and ended, or did that just stop eventually and go away? Because if they didn't get caught and there were no consequences and they just, went under the radar for a little while, them coming back tracks, asshole. Hey, did you guys know, once upon a time, Katie said I was a hacker? It was very funny. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a good old time. You know what I didn't do? Freak out and say, oh my god, Katie Joy, blah, 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 blah. I memed on it. I was like, oh my god, she's accusing me of crime. Do you know what a hacker is? It means I'm doing illegal activity. Also, I changed my name to Leet Haxor and I spelt it in Leet speak because it was funny. I didn't fucking go live and cry about how big of a Katie Joy victim I am. It was funny. It was goofy. Like, it's stupid. And, like, if she was getting... I don't even remember if that was happening. Like, if these email spoofy bullshit was happening, well, at the same time. I don't fucking remember. She never said I sent these emails. So it's not like Katie Joy runs around willy-nilly. It's like, it's not as much as you think it is, I guess. Or try to pretend it is. Yeah, Feline, you got it.
It's wild, y'all. And I won't get into details about what happened exactly. We'll be here forever, but you can see the point. So Katie Joy is just manic these days.
You know what's another weird connection with all those, the timing of these emails? It's the same time that Steve was going after her. Right around the same time Steve was dealing with kind of big losses around the Non Sequitur Show stuff. What kind of big losses is Steve currently going through right now? What kind of big shit was going around with Steve in October of last year? That swatting that definitely happened? Could it be that you and your group are fucking related to all of this? It's almost like every time this shit happens to Katie Joy or happens to other people, your fucking crew of dipshits are around. Weird. What a weird coincidence you just pointed out, Southern Mutton. Who is it that says they don't believe in coincidences again? It's weird that you think that Katie Joy you're just painting this with this brush that it's like, oh, this thing happened to Katie Joy before, therefore if it's happening to her now, it must be bullshit. That's not the flex you think it is. That's you accidentally telling on yourself is what that is. Oh.
On TikTok.
Manya, I'm on camera. Hi. Hello. I'm here. You having trouble with your stuff?
Talk going on and on about...
Oh, looks like Manya's got the case of the Mondays.
It's wild, y'all. And I won't get into details about what happened exactly. We'll be here forever, but you can see the point. So Katie Joy is just manic these days on TikTok, going on and on about Gypsy, but something happened and somebody asked her about this order of protection. So, of course, she heads on over to Instagram and loses her shit.
I also will not be commenting about anybody that continues to harass me through the legal system by filing frivolous actions against me.
Did you hear that? She won't be commenting any further on this.
Through the legal system by filing...
Does that sound manic to you? That sounds normal to me. Sounds frustrated, but I mean, who wouldn't be frustrated if somebody who was harassing them tried to Darvo you through the court system?
I also will not be commenting about anybody that continues to harass me through the legal system by filing frivolous actions against me.
Did you hear that? She won't be commenting any further on this, y'all. Just...
No, she said she wouldn't talk about the person at all. But also, it makes sense. If she's got a TRO, she shouldn't be talking about it. Because it's a fucking TRO. Making Veda the protected person. And her a protected person.
Wanted to point that out.
Anybody filing anything against me claiming to be a victim of me is lying. Period. Anyone publishing confidential records is breaking the law, and the county prosecutor in Wright County is aware of what you're doing.
And that's just a straight up lie, y'all. First of all, I'm pretty sure the county prosecutor doesn't give a shit about this. Second of all...
It is literally their job to give a shit about that. The county prosecutor, meaning the prosecutor that's working on her case, would absolutely give a shit about it because that's her job. Or their job. Unless you are saying, Southern Mutton, that there is corruption in the court and the court is not going to do their job. Is that what you're bringing up? Also, this says OFP and HRO records prior to service on respondent. Court records related to OFP and HRO petitions, which is like order of protections, are not accessible by public until after the respondent has been served. After service, court records related to OFP and HOR petitions are accessible to the public. If a petition for an OFP is denied or withdrawn, the petition is not accessible to the public or the respondent named in the petition absent a court order. This is they're saying from https://dps.mn.gov, which would be the Minnesota.gov website.
What Katie Joy Paulson has against Veda, and which Veda has against Katie, is a harassment restraining order, okay? And as you see here, it says that petition...
A harassment restraining order? You mean a temporary harassment restraining order, right? That's what you mean. Surely. Surely you're not claiming that there's a restraining order now.
Lie, y'all. First of all, I'm pretty sure the county prosecutor doesn't give a shit about this. Second of all, what Katie Joy Paulson has against Veda, and which Veda has against Katie, is a harassment restraining order, okay? And as you see here, it says that petitions are not accessible by the public until after the respondent has been served. After service, court records related to OFP, which is domestic, and HRO, harassment restraining order petitions, are accessible to the public. They are accessible to the public if obtained through the courthouse. They are accessible to the public.
I mean, that's not what it says on there. You're not really making a distinction between those two things. But sure, yes, there are documents. Most harassment restraining orders are not available through online access. But I've talked about this before.
She also makes statement that the order was sealed due to a minor child being involved. However, with restraining order...
Really? She didn't say that in what you played. That's not what Katie Joy said in the clip you played. Did she say that somewhere else? And then this says, isn't all victim data confidential? No, the only provision that places a protection on a victim's identity applies to minors or minor victim of criminal sexual conduct in criminal cases where the offender is charged with a CSC 1 through 5 crime, sex trafficking, and criminal sexual predatory conduct. The provision protecting the identity of minor CSC victims does not apply to civil cases. Names and details related to minors contained within OFP and divorce filings are public are accessible to the public. This is true even if the OFP proceeding is taking place at the same time as the criminal proceedings. Great. That's like an FAQ that you're reading off of. There are exceptions. If you look at the paperwork that was leaked by Balls, that Aaron and Rennell claim Veda sent to them, it says at the bottom there is a request to seal the record. Now, sealing the record can mean multiple things. What I suspect, but I don't know is the case, is that the initial filing, the petition, is public, but the court proceedings, once they're actually at the hearing, where the proceedings are taking place, not the proceedings that they've been talking about, the ones where the actual evidence is presented, might be the part that ends up being sealed. I don't know. I wasn't able to find easily accessible confirmation about this particular situation because it's not that easy to find. You would actually have to probably call the Minnesota court and ask them that question, which I notice none of these people have done. So I'm not convinced that what you're presenting is actually accurate nor applicable to the situation. It's almost like there are exceptions, and this isn't covering all of them. Also, this is still a clip out, not an actual full description. So I'm going to go with citation needed. I'm going to need a little bit more than that. In fact, one of you should probably just call the Minnesota courthouse and be like, hey, I got a question about this. Is this publicly available? Maybe they'll be able to answer the question for you.
Orders in Minnesota. If a minor child is involved, the only cases that are sealed are cases where the child is a victim of a sexual crime. This order is not sealed, and it is accessible to the public, regardless of what Katie Joy says.
And like I said,
You have not demonstrated that. Also, considering none of us are actually really sure, and anybody claiming that they're actually sure about this, Katie Joy is probably the best current source about whether or not it actually is or is not sealed, because she's the one who would have had to be at the courthouse, and she could have asked. Now, that doesn't mean she can't be fucking wrong. Not everything has to be a lie. She could just be fucking incorrect. She could have just checked that box being like, I want this sealed, and then thinks that that seals the document. You claim that you don't think she's very smart, so why is it impossible that she's just incorrect? The answer is you don't know, I don't know, Renell doesn't know, Rabbit doesn't know, maybe Katie's right, maybe Katie's wrong. The filing says that it checked off to be sealed, and maybe it is and maybe it isn't. Maybe one of you guys should fucking call the courthouse and record your conversation and then fucking give us the answer via that recording.
the county attorney is working on what they can do to help me because it's gotten out of hand. And filing a retaliatory TRO when I've been protected from this person for months is insane. Nothing that she alleged against me is remotely factual, and half of what she alleges in the complaint has nothing to do with me, which is crazy. So since I got my order of protection, things have been relatively calm. There hasn't been calls to the police. In the same vein, there hasn't.
Oh, extra piece of information from Feline, which is a good point. The answer shown on screen applies to finished cases mostly. Yeah, there's a difference between a finished and closed case and an ongoing case, and in cases that are happening at the same time, which are referenced in that screenshot.
Hasn't been emailed. I haven't been getting dozens of email threats anymore. And we were in court last week for the order of protection. There's a hearing in October, and that's all going to happen. And the same day that we were in court, that person filed an order of protection against me in retaliation. Her order of protection in retaliation is actually a violation of her order of protection.
Y'all, that is one of the dumbest things I have ever heard. Let's be clear here. She's saying that Veda...
Sorry, I'm going to roll that back because I don't trust her to get it correct. Just because Katie's actually speaking at a reasonable speed.
is accessible to the public, regardless of what Katie Joy says.
And like I said, the county attorney is working on what they can do to help me because it's gotten out of hand. And filing a retaliatory TRO when I've been protected from this person for months is insane. Nothing that she alleged against me is remotely factual, and half of what she alleges in the complaint has nothing to do with me, which is crazy. So since I got my order of protection, things have been relatively calm. There hasn't been calls to the police. In the same vein, there hasn't been email. I haven't been getting dozens of email threats anymore. And we were in court last week for the order of protection. There's a hearing in October, and that's all going to happen. And the same day that we were in court, that person filed an order of protection against me in retaliation. Her order of protection in retaliation is actually a violation of her order of protection.
Y'all, that is...
Yeah, it would be. If somebody files, if you have a protection order and then somebody tries to weaponize the court to harass you, yeah, that would be a violation of a standing temporary restraining order. But why would Veda ever do a contempt? Veda would never. So yeah, tell me why you think this is stupid, Mutton. I'm sure you know what you're talking about.
This is one of the dumbest things I have ever heard. Let's be clear here. She's saying that Veda filed in retaliation and that everything she's saying is false and that it's going to be dismissed, because...
Well, she said that half the stuff in the restraining order doesn't have anything to do with her. So why aren't you presenting, if you want to say Katie is wrong about that, why aren't you guys presenting Veda's order? Because you should have access to it. You claim to have access to it. You claim to have access to this information. So why aren't we just reading through Veda's file? Is there a reason? You're going to talk about how Katie's had this temporary restraining order for a while? That seems interesting, seems pertinent.
Because there's nothing in it that's legit. That's for the judge to determine. And that is why there is a hearing for the judge to hear Veda's side. If the judge...
That's not what she said, but sure.
dismisses it, then the judge dismisses it. But it's not going to be dismissed before then because you are Katie Joy without a crystal ball. She has every right to file one against you to protect herself as well. And you said you've been protected from her for all these months, and now all of a sudden she doesn't have a right to file her own? It's a temporary...
It's not about rights. Nobody said anything about rights. She can file whatever the fuck she wants. That doesn't make it not retaliatory, and that's not the reason why she's saying it's not retaliatory. How about you actually address the issue that's being brought up? How about you answer for that? A judge can still make details sealed, yes. There can be parts of some parts of something being sealed and other parts not being sealed. Just because you filed a thing doesn't mean you have a case. Correct. Katie doesn't believe that Veda has a case, the same way you don't believe Katie has a case against Veda. Why is it okay for you to have your opinion and talk about it, but it's not okay for her to say, this is filed against me, it doesn't make any fucking sense? It doesn't have anything to do with me. That's not a violation because it's not talking about Veda. If she said something more along the lines of, Veda's a fucking idiot and filed a superfluous piece of shit, here's that information, that would be a violation of the TRO.
order, Katie, and now you have one against you as well, which means you really shouldn't be talking at all about this order. But of course, you know.
This all popped after my Netflix story. The person was sending threats, like saying things like they were gonna make me pay for like talking about Robert Shin. I do know who the person is that I have the order of protection against. I also know that there's other people involved, but I know the main culprit. I've had this order since June. I'm not going to say who it's with. I'm not going to say what it's about. I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to respect the court, okay?
You remember earlier when Rennell and Rabbit and Mutton all said that Katie Joy said and implied whomst this was for and who and with and who was doing it? She hasn't said Veda's name in any of these fucking clips. And all these clips are newer. Or the ones that are older that say, I'm not going to say who. And then they all got mad at her, remember? They were all mad at her. Well, why didn't you say who? Why didn't you tell us? Why wouldn't you do blah, blah, blah? And now they're like, well, you shouldn't have been saying anything.
But again, I was in court last week on the 19th for a hearing on the order, which protects my son and myself. And that order includes that this person not share things online, and they're not supposed to share anything. They're not supposed to post about me. They're not supposed to share anything. And they decided to disseminate this to people. Except they didn't apparently share their order that they filed against me, because I think if they actually shared the order they filed against me, people would realize very quickly how fake it is.
I agree with Katie Joy in this, because last time when Veda thought she had a good case against Katie Joy and Sharla, they were posting that shit immediately, and this time they're not. So I think we can probably infer that they don't believe that Veda's current TRO is very believable or viable, and because otherwise they would have shared it. And they haven't. They've only shared that it was filed. And that's interesting. That's interesting to note in the pattern of the way this group behaves.
I'm grateful because the sheriff's office and the county attorney fully comprehend what's going on here, and they're very aware of what I'm facing and what I'm dealing with, and they're not in any capacity taking the order seriously. We are working on getting it thrown out right now because I didn't do what she claimed in this. And the sheriff detective today told me that it's like rambling nonsense. It's ridiculous what she accuses me of, and half of it has nothing to do with me. But anyways, my order isn't frivolous, and it has merit, and we're going to court in October for that.
So Katie Joy's on TikTok crying around about how her order was put out on social media and that it's supposed to be sealed. Well, when somebody asked how it got out, obviously she had to stick to her narrative, so she starts to blame Veda.
Well, that's not what she said in the clip, though. She didn't talk about it being sealed. She just said that person isn't supposed to be disseminating the information because of the TRO. But we know that there was a violation because we know that Veda fucking shared it. And the reason we know Veda shared it was because Rennell and Aaron told us that Veda sent it to them. McFly Hello? You're not going to talk about that? You're not going to talk about how it is a fact that Aaron claimed to have gotten that and seen this order that Katie Joy filed against Veda already? And that she got it from Veda? Or are we not supposed to, is that hearsay? We're not supposed to believe Aaron? No, I'm not saying that we should. I'm saying that Aaron claimed that she got this from Veda. Is Aaron lying? To get Veda in trouble? To take fucking shit off her own back for how fucked she is in Kansas? Huh? No? Yes? Applesauce? I don't fucking know. Is your brains applesauce?
And is adamant that Veda is the one that put it out, even though this is public record.
No, she said disseminated. Disseminated. It doesn't mean she's the one who literally put it out on Twitter. Balls was the one who put it out on Twitter. You know Balls, who hangs out with all these people? You know, without a crystal balls? No? And that she disseminated it to other content creators? Which makes it Veda's responsibility regardless of whether she's the one who actually posted it on her own account? Like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. These people are fucking ridiculous. Unbelievable.
This guy is unfucking believable.
Somebody probably simply went straight to the courthouse and got the order. It is public record, y'all. She's all.
Why? Why would they know to look? Even if that were the case. All right, look, okay. Even if it were the case that you could get this, right? Even if it were the case that you could get this from the courthouse by physically going there to get it, right? How did they know to go and look for it in the first place? You don't understand. That doesn't solve your problem. The problem is somebody still had to tell them to go and get it. Because they'd have to go there, know what they were looking for in the first place, and know what to ask for. Think, McFly, think. Yeah, that's going on the board. We need that on the board. Is there court hearing via Zoom in October, or does she have to show up in person? So Rabbit is complaining that Veda is going to have to show up in person, but she didn't actually show anything or demonstrate that she has any real fucking knowledge about how things work, and that she might just be applying how things were working in Kansas for Veda in the past. But we don't know. We don't know if Veda will have to go to Minnesota or not, for sure. Veda's filing would be interesting to see. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be?
Also stating that the sheriff's office is saying they're not going to take the one that Veda has against her seriously because it's frivolous. So she's sitting here telling us that the sheriff's office is not going to honor an order that the courts have put out.
No, that's not what she's saying at all. The sheriff's office is not the judge, you dumbass. The sheriff is allowed to have opinions. If Katie is in violation of the protective order, then Veda has to file with the court, and then the court has to take it seriously. And then when the court takes that seriously, then Veda has to file contempt, and then Katie Joy will have to show how she is or is not in contempt. That's how it works. Have you learned nothing? Do you know anything about, like, the contempt that's gone on when it comes to fucking the Charlotte situation? Or did you just ignore that? Did you just stop paying attention when you got yourself into a little bit of hot water and your friends are just, like, falling over themselves to see who can get the most fucking jail time, potentially? Yeah, no, you're nonsense. You're good. You're good. Oh, yeah, no, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
But I think the biggest piece of information here, y'all, that is so incredibly important is this. The FBI recently subpoenaed a group of people's Gmail accounts that were included in receiving these emails, or if their email was spoofed and used to send emails. The FBI.
Oh, interesting. So now it's not just Rennell and Nicole Farron. It's actually more people than just that. It's a group of people within the company. Ah, fascinating. Interesting. Funny that. We only knew about the 2, but Mutton's over here telling us there's more. I mean, Rabbit also kind of let that one drop too in the video we watched of her, didn't she? Maybe Nicole and Renelle weren't the only 2 receiving this.
FBI has concluded their investigation, and from what we have been told, and we're still waiting for confirmation, but I fully believe this, y'all, Veda was cleared by the FBI, that her IP address was not affiliated.
So this is a rumor that she's been cleared about this thing, allegedly, that you have no evidence of, you have no idea for, and you're just going to base your whole thing off of that. You know, cleared doesn't mean not going to be charged. It just means the investigation is concluded, right? Because that's, like, an investigation doesn't... Clearing an investigation just means the investigation is over. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going or not going to get charged with something, especially if it's an ongoing, multi-layered investigation. And as if they're going to tell you that you're still under investigation in other areas. Do you people listen to yourselves? This is an edited video. You had to go in and listen to yourself say this while you added your little lamb everywhere. Like, did you not hear yourself?
With these emails that were created. So please tell me how this is going to stand up in court for Katie in a case against Veda for harassment.
I don't know, you'd have to see fucking whatever Katie's evidence is, which may or may not end up being available to us because it's not our right to have that information in the first place if it is or is not sealed, depending on what goes on at the court. You're not privy to that, you entitled bitch. You don't necessarily get that fucking information because it's not about you. It's about resolution. The court isn't your fucking playground. It's about resolving the issue so that people are protected from cyber harassment like your fucking group. Idiot, dipshit, bunga moron. Hello? Mutton's source is that Veda is cleared as Aaron. Yeah, the only person who's been saying that anything was cleared is Aaron. So, Mutton, where did you get that information from, by the way? Was it Aaron? Did you get it from Aaron? Is it because you're a fucking harassment group? Oh, we love the company. The company. The company. We love the company. I'm gonna fall on my sword and cut my own head off with an axe.
So I'm gonna leave this here for now, y'all. And let's move on to the next one. Remember how Katie Joy received a cease and desist letter from a photographer that took the wedding photos at Jana Duggar's wedding? And Katie Joy removed those photos. But she never removed the engagement photos that she actually watermarked with her logo.
Fucking
Still,
what?
to this day, they are up, even after the photographer reached out to her with this request. Dear Katie, as a professional photographer who was hired by a client to take these photos for their personal...
I do not give a shit. Move on. I don't care about whatever this is. Blah, 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 blah. Why is this part of that? Why did you put this together? This is 40 minutes long.
Who knows? But we also talked about how Katie Joy doxed a man named Dan by...
Okay, that's enough. The doxing about Dan isn't quite accurate, and it does, you know...
putting out his entire social security number and his home address. There was discrepancy about who the real Dan was, and when Katie Joy was able to put 2 and 2 together with the information from another creator, she had to be the first to post it, so in true Katie Joy fashion, she did it as fast as she could without double-checking. The need to be first.
I'm sorry, are you saying that Katie Joy put out a publicly available court document and that it's totally fine to do and share a publicly available court document like you've been saying this entire time, but when Katie did it, it's not okay, even though Katie took it down and blocked it out later because that was an accident, according to her, which she shows later on the video that she fucking took that down. Katie, there's a audio clip of Katie doing that, saying she was doing that. So why is it okay for you to put out all this fucking shit and the fucking TRO and Veda's TRO, which you're interestingly, even though that should be publicly available too, you're not disseminating that, even though that seems very, very relevant to what you're trying to discuss here. But Katie puts it out. Oh, look the fuck out. Are you fucking stupid? How could you fucking possibly... You could have made this different videos and not shoved your foot so far up your own ass it was coming out of your mouth. Does it taste like foot fungus in there? Is that what that tastes like? Does your mouth just taste like foot fungus? Like, Are you fucking serious? You can't be real, right? You spent 28 minutes explaining how it was totally okay that this was public information and that we're allowed to talk about this, and then turned around and said, well, she put out this publicly available court document, and because it had this information in it, suddenly it's not okay and it's a dox. What the fuck? Foot cheese! Oh my god! Alright. We're gonna stop mutton there because this is fucking embarrassing. And I'm gonna get secondhand loser off of this kind of shit. So I got one more thing to show you guys, but I'm gonna take a quick break. Well, we got two more things. We gotta check on Veda. Veda's our last check-in. Because, I mean, we're talking about Veda all the time. I guess we better check up and see what she's up to, shouldn't we? Right? So I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be back and we'll actually see what Veda's had to say about some of this. See you momentarily.